seria lá uma montanha alta, garganta arranhando no mesmo tom do céu. Raspy purple rising sun stretching wide across the glass. Every drag I take a dish to scrape another layer past. Lo-fi drums in halftime, bassline sitting in my ribs. Whole car smell like late decisions, I ain't told about the kids. Tattoo hands on leather, watch glow violet on my skin. All these playlists full of smoke, feel like they playing where I've been. Purple skyline looking holy, but my throat sound far from clean. Sound like all my little breakdowns hit the filter in between. I've been holding down for people since before I had a plan. Every yo, I got you, took some grit out of this, man. Now my timber come out broken when I whisper what I hide. Half confession, half exhaust from all these nights I let slide. Raspy purple horizon, rolling slow and warm. For the 20 in my lungs, gravel in my form. Blues guitar crying, since barely rising. All this wear up in my voice, man. This raspy purple horizon. If tomorrow I act shiny in the day they advertise, no, at night I sound like this, under raspy purple sky. I remember stepping outside, breath turned fog against the chrome. Talking gentle on the phones that they ain't here, I'm far from home. Turn my pain into a punchline, let the rough sit in my laugh. Like a scratchy little sample on a West Coast Smoky track. But them playlists where I live now with the purple covers on, all be built for dudes like me who kept on singing when they're gone. Kept on driving through the 4:20 a.m. blues on quiet loops till the rasp became a feature, not a glitch in noisy soup. So I spill a couple secrets with this half-destroyed falsetto. Let it flip into a growl when I mention what I let go. If my eye was not okay, man, don't sit perfect on the scale. That's just pain without a filter over deep bass slogan hell. Raspy purple horizon, rolling slow and warm. 420 in my lungs, gravel in my form. Blues guitar crying, since barely rising. All this wear up in my voice matches raspy purple horizon. If tomorrow I act shiny in the day they advertise, no, at night I sound like this, under raspy purple sky. Maybe heaven nessas mixtapes nunca quis voz de cristal. Sempre quis garganta rouca carregando emocional. Tipo vinil com chiado, deixando blues mais verdade. Tipo pressa meio bêbado, mas sincera de verdade. So I let this vocal fry, ride the edges of the beat. Let the notes fray at the corners like old rubber on the street. If the harmony ain't perfect when it'll follow, I'm afraid. That's the line between persona and the human that I play. By the time the town below vira só brilho lá no chão. Minha voz já tá cansada, mas mais perto da intenção. Ainda rouca, ainda falha, mas dizendo que eu fugi, dando nome pra esses monstros que eu só trago quando aqui. Se você dirige ouvindo isso com a voz também gastada, canta junto desse jeito, mesmo torta, mesmo quebrada. Que essas faixas são refúgio pra quem quase foi demais. Raspy purple horizon, abraçando os desiguais. Raspy purple horizon, rolling slow and warm. For the 20 in my lungs, gravel in my form. Blues guitar crying, since barely rising. All this wear up in my voice matches raspy purple horizon. If tomorrow I act shiny in the day they advertise, no, at night I sound like this, under raspy purple sky. Engine down, luz da city, vira só barulho ao longe. Mas o tom queima na garganta igual bituca até onde. Se perguntarem por que a voz sou igual estrada em erupção, diz que eu morei muito tempo na raspy purple horizon. Na raspy purple horizon. purple mountains in the distance, city glowing like a ghost. Lo-fi drums in slow rotation, keeping pace with what I host. I've been giving out my daylight like I'm made of endless gas. Saying, yeah, I'm good, don't worry, every time they wanna pass. Now my throat is sounding weathered like it's been through 7 lives. Every word got muddy edges from the nights I barely survived. Tatted knuckles on the wheel, wrist shining in the dash. Ash curling toward the ceiling like a time lapse of my crash. I'm not here to sing like angels, I'm just trying to sound like real. Half a growl, half a whisper, driving circles around what I feel. Gravel hard highway, riding slow and scarred. 420 in my lungs, I've been hitting hard. Blues guitar floating, bass line low and wide. I don't need a polished voice to let this pain outside. If you hear me crack and shake on every line I say, that's just proof I've been surviving on this gravel hard highway. I remember cheap apartments turning smoke into a shield. Spitting verses in the kitchen just so something else would heal. Didn't know that every secret I refused to really share would come back as little splinters in the timber that I wear. Now promoters say they love it, say it cuts through all the gloss. Say it sound like old school bluesmen got lost in West Coast sauce. Like a preacher who's been doubting but still showing up to talk. Like a sinner making deals while he finish up this walk. So I leave the notes imperfect, let the vowels drag through sand. Let the consonants sound tired like they barely got to land. All that matters is it reaches every driver in the dark who been hiding just as heavy with a beat behind their heart. Go highway, riding slow and scarred. 420 in my lungs, like been hitting hard. Blues guitar floating, bass line low and wide. I don't need a polished voice to let this pain outside. If you hear me crack and shake on every line I say, that's just proof I've been surviving on this gravel hard highway. Maybe strength is not a filter, maybe grace is not a tune. Maybe courage is a chorus sung off key beneath the moon, where your voice can sound exhausted, where your chest can sound undone. And the fact you're still there singing is the proof you haven't run. So I bless the broken register that trembles on the hook. Bless the way my tone is ragged like a doggy burn a book. If a phrase falls out of meter when I tell you I'm not fine, let it fall, there's more redemption in that stumble than in shine. By the time I hit the turnout where the city fades to dust, I've been pouring out these verses like receipts for all my thoughts. Still got gravel in my breathing, still got weight behind my jaw, but I'm lighter in the places where I usually stay in awe. If you're listening while you're driving with your own throat running thin, let this hook be one reminder you don't have to tuck it in. You can sound like rust and thunder and still lay a sacred track. Gravel hard on open highway, never once has turned you back. Hard highway, riding slow and scarred. 420 in my lungs, like been hitting hard. Blues guitar floating, bass line low and wide. I don't need a polished voice to let this pain outside. If you hear me crack and shake on every line I say, that's just proof I've been surviving on this gravel hard highway. Kill the lights, keep the echo of this worn out melody. Let it hang inside the cabin like a quiet MC. If they ask me why my voice sounds like it's scraped across the day, I'll just nod and say I learned it on this gravel hard highway. Yeah. Tinted windows, rough voice, clean truth. Yeah. Purple city out of frame. Every drag I take up just pulls a story through my name. Tin so dark from floor to ceiling, world reduced to bass and light. Lo-fi hi-hats in the corner, dancing soft on sleepless nights. I've been venting to nobody through a hoarse and crooked tone. Halfway talking, halfway singing like I'm scared to be alone. All my I be fine on trip, turn the gravel in my throat. Now the way I say I'm tired, sound like someone read a note. Tattoos speak from under sleeves, fingers wrapped around the wheel. Every word I let escape fogs the glass with how I feel. You can see it in the traces where my breath is frozen air. Little clouds of honest vowels I was scared to put out there. Smoke glass confessional, rolling through the night. 420 on my tongue, secrets in my life. Blues keys echo, kick drum low and gentle. I don't need a perfect tone to make this moment monumental. If my voice comes out all rough, that's exactly how I'm blessed. In the smoke glass confessional, where my truth gets to confess. To confess. Yeah. I remember backseat sermons, giving pep talks to the squad, telling everybody breathe, bro, while I'm wrestling with God. Playing therapists in hoodies, late night Uber with no fee, dropping everyone a hill and driving home on empty me. Never let my chest get quiet, kept the windows full of laughs, used the volume as a blanket on my unspoken halves, till the day my voice went brittle from the weight of I'm okay. And the only sound that felt real was the rasp I got today. Now I treat this crack and wobble, like a key to fist alive, like a password into feelings. I've been scared to ever talk, when I let the chorus scratch, when I let the cadence bend. That's the closest I've been coming to a real unfiltered friend. Smoke glass confessional, rolling through the night. 420 on my tongue, secrets in my life. Blues keys echo, kick drum low and gentle. I don't need a perfect tone to make this moment monumental. If my voice comes out all rough, that's exactly how I'm blessed. In the smoke glass confessional, where my truth gets to confess. Maybe therapy's a booth with padded walls and perfect sound, or maybe it's a front seat where your sizzled thoughts come round, where your voice is half a whisper, half a growl that barely lands, but it still rewrites your story while the wheel is in your hands. So I spit these broken verses to the dark behind the tent, let the ash turn into incense, let the hurt turn into wind. If a phrase falls off the rhythm cause my throat is saying stop, I won't punch it, won't repair it, I'll just let that silence drop. By the time I loop the airport lights and head back into town, I can feel my shoulders lower, jaw unclenched, pulse slow down. Still got smoke along the ceiling, still got gravel in my sound, but I'm less a walking ceiling, more Minnesota found. If you're driving with your windows, black and voice about to break, let this hook remind your lungs they're allowed to make mistakes. You can caught between the lyrics, you can croak and still be heard. Smoke glass confessional will translate every slurred up words. Smoke glass confessional, rolling through the night. 420 on my tongue, secrets in my life. Blues keys echo, kick drum low and gentle. I don't need a perfect tone to make this moment monumental. If my voice comes out all rough, that's exactly how I'm blessed. In the smoke glass confessional, where my truth gets to confess. Engine fades, tent stays, moon still on the hood, but the echo of these raps feel a little understood. If they ask me where I finally stopped performing and impressed, I'll say inside a moving booth, my smoke glass confessional, yeah. Window crack, smoke out, voice of thoughts loud. Raspberry window seat, elbow leaning on the sill. Every breath I push outside got that worn out gravel feel. Purple city moving slow like it's stuck in 90 frames. Lo-fi snares, taps off, reminders of my almost forgotten names. I've been living in the middle between single friend and ghost. Always hushing my own story so that stays the loudest most. Now my tone is what remembers everything I never said. You can hear it in the scratch when I admit I'm full of dread. Hands on wheel, eyes on lanes, mind somewhere up in your glass. Watching raindrops waste my worries just to see which one will pass. I'm not trying to sound like Charles, I'm trying to sound like 3 a.m. when your chest is barely holding what the world has dropped on that raspy window seat. Driving through my head, 420 in my chest, half alive, half dead. Blues keys shimmer, bassline deep. If my voice come out all rugged, that's the cut I'm trying to keep. I don't need a velvet register to make this moment sweet. I just need this crooked cadence in my raspy window seat. I remember riding shotgun, watching older homies talk. Heard that gross all sound like vinyl from the weight of every walk. Thought that tone was just genetic, some folks born with smoke inside. Didn't know you catch that texture from the feelings you divide. Now I get it when they told me, kid, don't hold it all alone. Cause the more I play invincible, the more cracks in how I toned. Every show I pull up now when I was empty to the bone. Turned around and wrote itself in every raps that I hone. So I get those stars of Perkins when I sing about my fear. Let the ragged edges carry what I couldn't make so clear. If the line I need a break, scrape a little when it lands. That's just truth instead of posture, sitting raw in both my hands. Raspy window seat, driving through my head, 420 in my chest, half alive, half dead. Blues keys shimmer, bassline deep. If my voice come out all rugged, that's the cut I'm trying to keep. I don't need a velvet register to make this moment sweet. I just need this crooked cadence in my raspy. Maybe somebody right now got their forehead on the blast, speakers humming low and heavy while they thoughts just overpass. Trying to find themselves in lyrics from a stranger in the fog. Hope the roughness in the vocal can translate they inner law. So I'm sending out this chorus like a signal through the rain. Little beacon saying me too for the drivers, for the strain. Sing it hoarse, sing it broken, let it wave and let it shake. Let the window see you tremble, let the echo keep you safe. By the time the road gets empty and the night ends in the gray, I've been looping this confession in the slow smoked out bouquet. Still got damage in my register, still got miles upon my face. But I feel a bit less nameless in this moving private space. If you catch this in your speaker while you're trying to decompress, let the rise between the lyrics be your reason to confess. You ain't gotta sound like angels for your feelings to be heat. You can mumble out your heartbreak from a raspy window seat. Raspy window seat, driving through my head, 420 in my chest, half alive, half dead. Blues keys shimmer, bassline deep. If my voice come out all rugged, that's the cut I'm trying to keep. I don't need a velvet register to make this moment sweet. I just need this crooked cadence in my raspy window seat. Park the car, lock the door, let the street go back to mute. But that rough, low-flying chord still be clinging to my roof. If they ask me where I found a way to make my damage speak, I'll say along with cracked glass open in a raspy window seat. When no crack smoke out, no doubt. When no crack smoke smoke out. Car lock the door, let the street go back, on you. Window crack, smoke out. Window crack, smoke out. Oh, window crack, window crack, window crack, window crack. Oh, window crack, smoke out. Oh, window crack, smoke out. Window crack, smoke out. Window crack, smoke. Window crack, smoke out. Window crack. Oh, window crack, smoke out. 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 Window crack. Window crack. Window crack. Window crack. Must be window steep. Window crack, smoke out. Window crack, smoke out. Window crack. Window crack, smoke out. Window crack, smoke out. Window crack. Window crack, smoke out. Smoke out. Smoke out. Window crack, smoke out. Smoke out. Window smoke out. Yeah. Failing. Slow frame. Throw a little wreck. Fade lane raspy, purple smearing on the glass. Every bar I let out sounds like sand inside a flash. Street lights drip down window panes like paint that never dry. Lo-fi drums and lazy circles keeping pace with what I hide. I've been living on these playlists made for driving way too late, where the bass is low and smoky and the verses talk about fate. Husky voices overrode, that's the language of my night. So I add my busted register to that St. I blue light. Tattoo fingers on the wheel, veins lit violet by the dash. Ash float up like little comets from this half-burnt snow roll stash. I'm not rushing toward tomorrow, I'm just coasting in between. Let the croak inside my cadence match the color of the fade lane raspy. Cruising with no goal, 420 in my lungs, gravel in my soul. Blues guitar drifting, kick drum barely there. If my tone comes out all shredded, that's the vibe I came to share. I don't need to sound like radio to make this midnight classy. I was built for purple highways with this fade lane raspy. I remember headphones on, riding shotgun as a kid. Playlist full of Smoky verses talking about the things I did. Didn't know that one day I'd be the one that someone plays while they drive through empty suburbs trying to sort their scattered days. So I give them all the texture that I wish I heard back then. Let my I'm not doing great be clear and scratchy in the den. Let my sometimes almost quit ride the bass instead of text. Let my lonely got me choking, sit and rasp around they necks. If the pitch drops out of focus when I say I'm scared of change, that's just gravel from the seasons where my hope felt out of range. And it fits these quiet freeways better than a glossy tape, cause nobody out here perfect in a car they didn't break. Lane raspy, cruising with no goal, 420 in my lungs, gravel in my soul. Blues guitar drifting, kick drum bell. highways with this fade lane raspy. Maybe all these late night mixes never wanted polished throats, always wanted busted speakers and some weather in the notes. Voices that sound like they argue with their demons on the phone, and press record inside a Civic just to not feel so alone. So I lean into the damage, let it crack and let it slide. Let the vowels come out smoky, let the consonants collide. If a word falls off the rhythm cause my chest forgot to count, that's a memory, emotion, not a flaw, I got 'em out. By the time the playlist loops and night gets thinner on the hill, I can feel my breathing settle while my tones stay rough and real. Still a rasp on every ending, still a shake on every start, but I'd rather drive like this than keep a filter on my heart. If you got your speakers low and windows open to the breeze, and your throat is feeling weathered from the weight of who you please, sing along in busted harmony, no pressure to be clean. We belong inside this moment, living fade lane raspy. Fade lane raspy, cruising with no goal, 420 in my lungs, gravel in my soul, blues guitar drifting, kick drum barely there. If my tone comes out all shredded, that's the vibe I came to share. I don't need to sound like radio to make this midnight classy. I was built for purple highways with this fade lane raspy. Engine hum, city dim, playlist rolling in the new, but the echo of this roughness keep on riding next to you. If they ask you what you're bumping while the streets stay low and glassy, tell them just some midnight therapy called fade lane raspy. Called fade lane raspy. Yeah. Purple night, low dash glow, voice a little worn out. Purple dash raspberries flow. Dash raspberry flow, city spilling down the hill. Every syllable I drag sound like smoke that learned to chill. Mountains cut the neon skyline, stars just barely breaking through. Lo-fi drums in slow rotation, bassline breathing like I do. I've been running from my feelings with the windows halfway cracked, turning every heavy thought into a joke to keep intact. Now my voice is what remembers all the truth I never spoke. You can hear it in the gravel every time I say I'm broke. Tatted fingers on the wheel, watch face glowing in the haze. Asphalt soft across the console like the snow of other days. I'm not trying to sound like pop songs, I'm just trying to sound like me. Half a croak, half meditation in a Lambo by the sea. Purple dash, raspberry flow, riding through my mess, 420 in my lungs, worries on my chest. Blues guitar crying, kick drum riding low. If my tone comes out all shredded, that my purple dash flow. I don't need a shiny finish for these late night miles to hit. I just need this rough cut vocal where the feelings never quit. I remember cheap headphones, searching night drive on the screen, stumble into Smoky mixes, painted all in violet sheen. Those descriptions talking no rush, no race, just time on tap. Felt like someone built a world where I can finally collapse. Now I'm part of that same weather for some stranger in the car, so I lace my lines with texture, let the edge sit in my bar. When I say I almost lost it, let it wobble on the note. Let the crack between the pitches be the part that really spoke. If the hook comes out imperfect when I sing of being tired, that's exactly how exhaustion sound on nights you're uninspired. That's the color of a spirit that's still showing up to drive. Even when the best it's got is just a scratchy, I'm alive. Purple dash, raspberry flow, riding through my mess, 420 in my lungs, worries on my chest. Blues, guitar, crying, kick, drum, riding low. If my tone comes out all shredded, that's my purple dash flow. I don't need a shiny finish for these lead night miles to hit. I just need this rough cut vocal where the feelings never quit. Maybe healing isn't quiet, maybe peace still got a cough. Maybe hope sounds like a chorus that can't get the edges off. Where the notes are slightly twisted but the message lands intact. Where the cracks inside the timber are the proof you didn't act. So I bless the way my vowels drag like tires on painted lines. Bless the croak that shows up nightly when I read between my signs. If I lose a little smoothness every time I tell the truth, that's just trade-off for the freedom I was missing in my youth. By the time I hit the overlook and the city shrinks to dust, all the weight inside my ribcage feels a notch closer to trust. Still got rasp along my phrasing, still got storms behind my eyes, but I'm singing like I mean it underneath these purple skies. If you're driving with your speakers low and thoughts a little loud, let this hook become a blanket you can wrap around the crowd of the voices that keep saying you should clean up how you feel. Purple dash and raspy flow, no messy hearts are still real. Purple dash, raspy flow, riding through my mess. 420 in my lungs, worries on my chest. Blues, guitar, crying, kick, drum, riding low. If my tone comes out all shredded, that's my purple dash flow. I don't need a shiny finish for these lead night miles to hit. I just need this rough cut vocal where the feelings never quit. Engine idle, sky in pieces on the windshield start to show, but the aftertaste of gravel staying warm inside my flow. If they ask me why my voice sound like the road instead of snow, I'll just laugh and say I learned it in that purple dash raspy flow. In that purple dash raspy flow. Purple dash raspy flow. Raspy cruise in the smoke, low beams kissing up the lane. Every word I push through teeth, carry resin from my pain. Purple haze above the rooftops, town a blanket full of sparks. Lo-fi snares tap soft like heartbeats when you're driving through the dark. I've been everybody's lifeline with my own wire running thin, acting solid on the surface while I'm cracking deep within. Now my chords are sounding tired from the weight of I'll be there. You can hear it in the chorus when I say I need repair. Tattoo ink on both my wrists, watch tick slow in neon pink. Gas hang heavy in the dome while I let this cabin think. I'm not rushing to a party, I'm just riding with my flaws. Let my verses drag like smoke rings, writing circles in the laws. Raspy cruise in the smoke, floating under signs. 420 in my bloodstream, true between the lines. Blues key shimmer, sub bass choke. If my tone comes out all gravel, that's my raspy cruising smoke. I don't gotta sound like velvet for these 80 BPM. I just gotta keep it honest when the night caves in again. I remember searching late night drive and finding all these sets. Purple thumbnails, empty highway, titles full of no regrets. List descriptions talking healing where the road and soul collide. And I'd ride along in silence feeling less alone inside. Now I'm voicing for the next kid scrolling through that endless haze. So I pour a little tremble into everything I phrase. When I mention almost losing what I love to overwork. Let my pitch slip off the center. Let the rest do all the work. If the verse feels like a voicemail that you shouldn't play too loud, that's on purpose, that's the texture of confessions in a cloud. This ain't soundtrack for the club, this for wheels on empty streets, for the ones who exhale secrets at the same time as they weave. Raspy cruise in the smoke, floating under signs, 420 in my bloodstream, true between the lines. Blues key shimmer, sub-bass choke. If my tone comes out all gravel, that's my raspy cruising smoke. I don't gotta sound like velvet for these 80 BPM. I just gotta keep it honest when the night caves in again. Maybe calm is just a car with no appointment on the board, where the only thing that matters is the next low minor chord, where your vocal cords can crackle without someone calling wrong, where your damage is the reason they replay a phony song. So I trace these crooked patterns through a maze of yellow paint, talk to God and smokers register, not polish of a saint. If my help me hits the ceiling with a cough instead of choir, that's exactly what I'm feeling in this purple dashboard fire. By the time the tank reads half and the playlist loops back around, I've been spilling raspy secrets all across this quiet sound. Still got smoke along the visor, still got weight upon my tongue, but I feel a little freer than I did when I was young. If you're somewhere on a back row with your own voice running rough, let this hook remind your system that your tone is good enough. You can drag the notes like tires, you can croak and still invoke every truth you've been avoiding on this raspy cruise and smoke. Raspy cruise in the smoke, floating under signs, 420 in my bloodstream, drew between the lines. Blues key shimmer, sub-bass choke. If my tone comes out all gravel, that's my raspy cruise and smoke. I don't gotta sound like velvet for these 80 BPM. I just gotta keep it honest when the night caves in again. Turn the volume down a notch, let the engine be the guide, but keep that rust-spun little mantra humming somewhere deep inside. If they ask me where I pray when life feels heavy like a yo, I'll say out there under purple on a raspy cruise and smoke.